Hello. So today we're going to talk about actions, your actions, the actions you take on a daily basis, or how you're voting on a daily basis. Okay. So now this might be really cool for some of you. This might be like a, stab to the heart. They're both okay. It doesn't really matter, but it is about awareness. It is about what we're bringing into ourselves in order to help us be honest with ourselves in terms of what we need to do moving forward. Okay. Remember, these aren't reactive approaches. These are proactive approaches, but proactivity needs a reference point within our own life to make new decisions. And so how are our actions votes? Now, you probably already got this, right? But we're going to do this 3 different ways. Well, when we vote, right? And let's say it's our election time and we get our ballots and we're either going there, we're mailing them in, or however we're doing it, okay? We review all the candidates. We look at everything around and we say, okay, let's weigh our options. And we say, oh man, this sucks. This is better, but it's not very good. Oh, this is really good. I agree with this, but not this. But at the end of the day, we do our research, assuming you vote, and we make a decision and we circle our little things and we write our names. And we do what we're going to do, right? We put our vote in along with millions of other people and we're hoping for an outcome. Right? And we're hoping that the decision we made in that vote ultimately makes things better, right? We're not going to vote to make things worse. Like, you know what? I had a bad day. Forget everybody. Everybody's done. Forget them. I want it to go bad. We don't want that generally. Okay. Generally, we want to make sure that whatever we're voting on is going to either be good for us, good for others, or good for the greater good, like the world. And that's how we know it's an ecological vote. So, when we do that, we have a decision. And now the cool thing, and I remember this as a kid, and I always thought, if you don't vote, you can't complain, right? Like, why would we complain about what's going on if we don't take the time to vote to influence the change of what's actually going on? It makes sense, right? And so I'm sure all of you either vote or you don't complain. I can tell, that's why you're here. But let's look at this another way. Let's say we go to work, okay? Or we invest, or whatever we do with our attention in terms of generating revenue on a daily basis. Okay, we generate our revenue daily, weekly, monthly. We have our salaries, our hourly pay, our residuals if you're getting residuals, your investments if they're paying you. And now it's time to buy something, okay? So we have time, right, which we've traded at some level or leveraged in order to generate revenue, money. And now each dollar bill we have represents a unit of value in the market, okay, a unit of value in the market. So people value TVs less than cars, so chances are a TV is going to be much less expensive than a car, right? And when we start thinking about our purchases, no, not all cars are the same. Not all TVs are the same. Stereos, clothing, household, decor, furniture, everything is different, right? So within the means of what we have and the value that we have within our possession that we're going to trade in the market, we ultimately make a decision on what we want, and then we make an exchange, okay? And now we own whatever it is we just invested in. So I hope that makes sense, right? We trade our value that we've generated to value in the market to something that we can now own, rent or lease as well. But you get it. That's a decision you've made and now you own it. So how does that apply to us? Well, our actions are votes. And when we have a goal or we don't have a goal, our behaviors on a daily basis are acting as votes toward the life that we're going to have. Okay? Whether we want that life or not, those are our votes. And this is where awareness becomes very important. And we're going to talk about this a couple of different ways. Now, we're going to start with injuries. If we've gotten injured and now we say, I'm going to, I can push through it, I'll take some medication, I'm going to push. Our vote, our action suggests that some part of what we're doing weighs more, has more value than the injury that we have. So instead of scaling back and taking care of it, we're pushing through. right? Because it might be a fear of missing out. It might be the meaning. It might be a fear of what we're going to put on, or maybe we just don't know any other options, right? But that's our vote. That's our time and attention. That's our action. Now, on the other side of that, let's say we have an injury and we say, whoa, this is no good, okay? I've been making progress. I need to take a step back. I need to get this evaluated. I need a solution so I can get back on track with my goals without being detracted, right? So same thing, two different ways of voting in that situation, two different actions. Now, there's lots of other actions for all of these. They're very simplified, but it's to give you an example of what happens on a daily basis. Now, let's say all week we're doing good. We decided we were going to start a diet, we're training. Maybe we're just going for walks and we're eating something healthy a day. Maybe it's a salad for lunch, right? It's convenient, we like it. We're noticing a difference in how we feel, okay? And now we say to ourselves, you know what? I like this whole salad thing. I think I'm going to make some changes at dinner. I'm going to make some new changes. Breakfast, let's just say that's a wash. We love our breakfast. We're going to keep that, but we made some changes at lunch, and now we're going to make some changes at dinner. And we do, okay? Let's say we've had our salad, and now we're getting really into like vegetable and protein and healthy fat dishes, and we're feeling good, and now we're noticing changes. Things are beginning to change. Let's say we've done this for a couple of weeks. You're feeling really good, you're proud of your results, and now it's time to go out to dinner, okay? Now, we go out to dinner, and I can hear some of you just go, dun, 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 right? Like, you know what's coming. We're feeling good, our energy is high, we're proud of what we're doing, but now we're in a new environment, okay? So what happens? Well, the first thing is if it's new, it could go one of two ways. One, we're like, you know what? I'm good. I'm not gonna eat the bread. I'm not gonna do the dipping sauces. I'm gonna order a healthier appetizer option that's whole foods. My meal is gonna be good, but you know what? I'm gonna make up in volume what I would normally get in density, and then that way I can still have a dessert and feel good, right? So we've made these decisions, we voted on that, but what are we voting for? We're voting for that feeling of knowing we're doing the right thing, we're making progress, and we feel good. Now, on the other side of that, we're going out, we're looking around, in the same environment, let's say we're with friends, okay, maybe a couple other people, we're just catching up, and now we're around this group. And we go there, and we're feeling good, but now we're a little bit nervous, we're a little bit apprehensive, because we're like, you know what, I don't want to stand out, I know I feel good, but, I don't want to be an outlier, and so I'm gonna, I'll eat the bread, I'll have the foods I normally eat. We'll all do our sharing plates and we'll share desserts. But then afterwards we feel bad, okay? So what happened? We voted differently. We didn't vote for the feeling that we're proud of. We voted for acceptance. And here's what I want you to think about. When we think about our actions or votes, we have to think about the meaning that we're giving things that we're voting for. It's not the vote that matters as much as the meaning that we're voting for. So if, let's say I have heart disease, high cholesterol, blood pressure, diabetes, type 2 diabetes or type 1, right? Let's say we're on some sort of medication or we have limited range, any problem, and a solution is presented for us, and it's one that we enjoy, we feel good about. When we look at that, and let's say we do the complete opposite, what is it that's influencing our vote? What meaning have we associated with what it is that we're doing that vote now becomes a vote in the wrong direction? Because remember, votes don't care. Just like food. Food doesn't care if you eat it or not. Food doesn't care. It's the meaning. You might say, Mike, you don't understand. When my mom makes food, I got to eat that food. She'll guilt me into the food. Meaning, emotion, right? Sometimes we have to we need to reframe, deframe, or preframe a situation a little bit differently. And I'll do another video on that later. Those are very cool terms and very cool things that you want to have as reference points. Feel free to look them up. If you want some reference points, look up Bandler and Grinder from NLP, Santa Cruz. I mean, really cool stuff. But look at preframe, reframe, and deframe, and you'll get a new idea of how to adjust meanings to things, or at least frame a situation. But the takeaway I want you to have for this video is when we're voting for an outcome, whether that's in politics, whether that's with our time and value exchange in the market, or with ourselves and our behaviors. And the question you got to ask yourself is, what are you voting for? And are you proud of what you're voting for? If you had to show people the plan that you were voting for on a regular basis, what are you actually voting for? Is it fear-based? Is it, oh, I want to be accepted. I don't want to do the hard things. It's easier this way. I don't like conflict. So we vote for that? Or is it like, you know what? It's time for me to vote for myself. It's time for me to vote for the good, right? It's time for me to vote for eating within my caloric range. It's time for me to vote for eating healthier options most of the time. It's time for me to vote in regards to doing activities that I enjoy, spending time with people that move me towards my goals, be environments that move me towards my goals, that fill our joy, right? Think about that. Stew on it, marinate, let it percolate a little, okay? Have some conversations about it. Get with your friends, say, hey, when you think about your goals, how do you vote on a regular basis? Might seem weird, but it's going to be a good conversation. Might learn a few new things. These are conversations we don't normally have. Well, thank you very much for your time. I hope this video has offered at least a new perspective on behavior. And I can't wait to see what you're voting for. If you have some things that you want to share, or perhaps things that you've been voting for that you would like to change, put them below. I'd love to hear them. And if you have any questions for me, like always, get involved in the conversation, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great day.